Have you ever wondered what the last 24 hours of someone's life were like? Especially someone who changed the course of history. Today, we're going to journey back in time. Not just to any day, but to the final, most intense 24 hours in the life of Jesus Christ. This isn't just a story from a book. It's a profound human drama filled with friendship, betrayal, agony, and sacrifice. Book key. Whether you're deeply religious or just curious about history's most influential figures, this story is packed with moments that have echoed through to millennia. So, grab a seat, and let's explore the day that shook the world to its very core. Our story begins on a quiet evening in Jerusalem. The city is bustling with people celebrating Passover. Jesus gathers his 12 closest disciples for a final meal, which we now know as the Last Supper. Imagine the atmosphere in that room. It's intimate, but there's a heavy sense of foreboding. Jesus breaks bread and shares wine, telling them this is his body and blood, a new covenant. Washes their feet, a radical act of humility for a leader. But then, he drops a bombshell. One of them will betray him. The disciples are in shock, looking at each other, wondering who it could be. And in this moment of confusion, Judas Iscariot slips away into the night, the betrayal now in motion. After the meal, Jesus leads his disciples to a garden called Gethsemane. It's late, and the weight of what's to come is crushing him. He asks his inner circle, Peter, James, and John, to stay awake and pray with him, but they are exhausted and keep falling asleep. Jesus withdraws to pray alone, his anguish so intense that he sweats drops of blood. He pleads with God, asking if there's any other way, but ultimately submits, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." It's a moment of profound, raw humanity. Suddenly, the quiet is shattered. Torches flicker in the darkness. Judas arrives, leading a group of temple guards and Roman soldiers. He identifies Jesus with a kiss, a sign of friendship twisted into an act of betrayal. Chaos erupts. Peter, ever impulsive, draws a sword and cuts off a guard's ear. But Jesus immediately stops him and miraculously heals the man. He doesn't resist arrest. "Am I leading a rebellion," he asks, "that you have come out with swords and clubs?" He is then taken away, and his disciples, terrified and confused, scatter into the darkness, abandoning him just as he predicted. The long night of trials begins. First, he's taken to the house of the high priest Caiaphas, where the religious leaders have gathered. They're looking for any reason to condemn him, bringing in false witnesses whose stories don't even line up. Finally, Caiaphas asks him directly, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus' simple reply, "You have said so," is all they need. They accuse him of blasphemy, a crime punishable by death. As dawn breaks, Jesus, beaten and mocked, is brought before the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate is a politician, and he can see this is a religious dispute, not a Roman one. He finds no basis for a charge against Jesus, trying to avoid responsibility. He sends Jesus to Herod, the local ruler, who just mocks him and sends him back. Pilate then offers the crowd a choice: release Jesus, or release a notorious criminal named Barabbas. The crowd, incited by the religious leaders, shouts for Barabbas to be freed and for Jesus to be crucified. Pilate literally washes his hands of the matter, a symbolic act of deflecting blame, and condemns an innocent man to death. The final hours are brutal. Jesus is scourged, a horrific whipping that tears his flesh. The soldiers mock him, placing a crown of thorns on his head and a purple robe on his shoulders, hailing him as a mock king of the Jews. He is then forced to carry his own cross through the streets of Jerusalem, to a hill called Golgotha, the place of the skull. The weight is too much, and he falls. A man from the crowd, Simon of Cyrene, is forced to help him. At 9 in the morning, they nail him to the cross. For the next 6 hours, He hangs there. He speaks a few final words, including, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Around 3 in the afternoon, with a loud cry, "It is finished," he breathes his last. An earthquake shakes the land, and the temple curtain tears in two. A Roman centurion, witnessing all this, declares, "Truly, this was the Son of God." And there it is, a 24-hour period that began with an intimate meal among friends and ended in a public execution that would change the world forever. It's a story of ultimate sacrifice, betrayal, and unwavering conviction. Tick. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.